Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle, Reiki, spiritual healer. And, we have some people that have some really interesting behaviors. They have really interesting conduct. I had, a narcissist come into my private comments, come onto my channel and say that I made him an enemy because I did not interpret Joseph's story the way he wanted me to. That, he wanted me to interpret it, with the jealousy and all of those things that people have been saying. And, I did, but I interpreted with the wolf spirit, and he didn't like that at all, because I'm like, well, I think outside of the box. I'm not interpreting the whole story. I'm interpreting the gang of, his brothers, the gang of them, what they did together. They were lying together. They were conspiring together. But that's neither here nor there. And, the end result is, if you want a Christian channel, this is a spiritual channel. And if you want someone to interpret things the way you want them to, then you have to go to a spiritual channel for that, where they're only interpreting one book, where you only read from one book. So that is the understanding that we get. When you want to be traditional, you have to go with traditional people. You can't go where they are, reading from two different books and comparing the stories to make it make sense for everyone. And discerning different spirits that our ancestors were dealing with at that time, the Jezebel spirit, or, the spirit of narcissism. So we have these demonic spirits that we have been dealing with, and we're going to get into it right now. And right now we're talking about the familiar spirits and the monitoring spirits. A lot of people think that they are the same, and I wanted to make sure that you understand that they are not. There are big and major differences with familiar spirits. Familiar spirits are spiritual narcissists. Familiar spirits are shapeshifters. They are, usually sending negative energy from themselves to change themselves, their energy, into animals. They can send you monitoring spirits as animals, cats, flies, birds, dogs. And these people are usually the familiar spirits, are the familiar people in your life. They are the ones who are closest to you. And, I have been getting so many different questions about these types of spirits. The monitoring spirit is the spirit that wants to take back information, take your information back, whatever you tell them, whatever they can gather from your information. They're going to take that back to their entity in order for that entity to cause bad luck, in order for them to send bad luck to your life, create disaster and chaos in your life. Where the familiar spirit doesn't need to take back your information. They're sending and hiring negative entities, demonic entities, in order to find out your information, in order to know your information, in order to know anything that you have spoken. So it's not good to speak things out loud, even in your own home, around certain animals, because they can take that negative energy. They can communicate that negative energy with those malevolent familiar spirits. These familiar spirits are insidious. They are the types of people who do not want you to grow in life. They have been trying, in many cases, to control your gifts, to control your growth, to control your health, so that you do not grow in life or outgrow them. They have been sending these negative frequencies, and in order for you to detach these frequencies, you will have to do major cleansing, meaning fasting, praying, prostration. Your connection to God must be immaculate. And you will have to do the spiritual methods, the cleansing methods, in order to cleanse these types of negative frequencies and people out of your life. It is easier to get rid of a monitoring spirit. All you have to do is cut off any information. Do not tell them anything about your personal life, your personal information, anything good that is happening to you in your life. They will send negative energy. All you have to do is cut off the information, and they will go on to someone else that they need to monitor in order to cause, chaos and disaster upon. Okay? So that's all you need to do for the monitoring spirits. Both of them are dangerous. Both of them will need information. But when you withhold information, you're calling back your power, and usually the monitoring spirit will move on to someone else. But the familiar spirit is obsessed with your energy because they have been around you. They know you. They are the people that you've been in relationships with. They are your neighbors or those high school sweethearts that you've been around all of your life. They are your mothers, your fathers, and many times uncles and aunts. They are familiar spirits, people that you know, that are sending these frequencies. And even if you go off to college, in order to break these frequencies, they will still keep in touch with you. They will still send that negative frequency to cause things to go haywire, to things that to go into chaos and disaster for you. You have to cut those cords, because they can still renew those types of spells upon you. They can renew these types of attachments upon your life when they renew these spells. And for many of you, you have had these types of spells upon your life all of your life. And there are, some of us, and I have been in relationships where I could see these types of attachments where other people were controlling the person that was in my life. And, I could not help them. I could not help them because they had to ask for help. They had to want help. And what I had to do was cleanse myself and shield myself from those types of attacks. And when, the person wasn't able to send a frequency and attach demonic spirits to me in the same way as they were, with that person, with the person that was in my life, then they became, malevolent. They sabotaged the relationship. They sabotage the person. And in many cases, a lot of the people from my past life, they automatically know that they cannot come into my life. They, they cannot ask me for anything because of the things that they have done. They have been malevolent in my life. In many cases, they are, users, thieves, people who are these types of monitoring spirits, who have tried to send negative energy. A lot of them were witches and warlocks. And, I'm the type of person that, if God told me not to be around you, then obviously your behavior is atrocious, and I should, limit anything to do with you. You can't ask me for anything, because of your behavior, because of your conduct. So we have to have that type of attitude with these types of spirits, and we have to cut the cords with these types of spirits. So, and they're attached to people that and I want you to just remember that. And they're sending out these negative frequencies so that they can continue to control you and send negative energy to your children, your finances, and your health. So I hope you received this message. You can reach out to me if you want me to acclimate a gift to your situation. If someone, a monitoring spirit, these people are attacking you in that way, you can reach out to me and book your one-on-one sessions, your life coaching sessions, or your video chat sessions. Please book your consultation so I can acclimate these gifts to your situation. I'm High Oracle, Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.